In a small African village of Oba, there was a famous hair salon called Aunty Titi's Beauty Place. Women from all over the village and even nearby towns came there to get their hair braided. It wasn't just an ordinary salon, it was special because the braiders worked very fast. The hairstyles were beautiful and neat. Even Aunty Titi, the owner, was kind and welcoming. But there was one strange thing about Aunty Titi's salon. There were no mirrors, not even one. Most salons had mirrors everywhere because women love to look at themselves while their hair was being braided. But at Aunty Titi's, just plain walls. One afternoon, a young girl named Oma visited the salon with her mother. As curious as she was, her eyes noticed everything. As her mother sat down to get her hair braided, Oma looked around. She saw the wooden chairs, the baskets full of hair extensions, and the women chatting while their hair was being styled. The air was filled with the rhythmic sound of fingers twisting and braiding hair. But something felt wrong. Oma's eyebrows pulled together in a frown. Where are the mirrors? She had been to many salons before, and they all had mirrors. Women liked to check their hair, admire the styles, and sometimes even take pictures. But here, nothing, just walls. Oma's heart beat a little faster. She couldn't hold back her question any longer. She looked up at Aunty Titi and asked, Aunty Titi, why don't you have mirrors? The sound of braiding stopped. The women froze. The customers turned their heads slowly. Even the breeze from outside seemed to vanish. Aunty Titi turned to look at Oma. Her smile was warm, but her eyes looked different. Mirrors are not good for the salon, my dear, she said in a soft voice. Oma blinked. But why? For a moment, Aunty Titi's face changed. Her warm expression disappeared. Something cold and angry flashed in her eyes. Then, just as quickly, she smiled again. But this time, it looked forced. Little girl should not ask too many questions, she said. Oma's mother quickly pulled her close. Sorry, Aunty Titi, she's just a child, she said nervously. The women nodded quickly and went back to braiding. But Oma noticed something. Their hands were shaking, and every few minutes their eyes would flicker towards the empty walls as if they were afraid of something. Something invisible, something watching. That evening, Oma visited her grandmother, Mama Abi, who loved telling stories. As soon as she sat on her grandmother's lap, she whispered, Grandma, why doesn't Aunty Titi have mirrors in her salon? Mama Abi's hand stopped moving. For a long moment, she had stared at Oma. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, Because she's hiding something. Oma's heart skipped a bit. Hiding what? Mama Abi sighed and pointed towards the direction of the salon. The sun was setting and the shadows looked long and airy. She said, A long time ago, that salon belonged to Madame Femi. Back then, it had big shiny mirrors on the wall. Women loved to admire themselves while getting their hair done. Oma leaned closer. So what happened? Mama Abi lowered her voice. One night, a woman screamed inside the salon, a scream so loud that the whole villagers heard it. When people gathered inside, she was gone. Oma shouted, Gone? Where? No one knows, Mama Abi whispered. But after that night, whenever someone looked into a mirror in that salon, they disappeared. Oma's hands felt cold. One by one, people vanished, always after looking in a mirror, Mama Abi continued. And then, one night, Madame Femi stayed alone in the salon. The next morning, the salon was locked. She was never seen again. Oma gulped. That night, Oma couldn't sleep. Her grandmother's story echoed in her head. She had to know the truth. So when the whole house was silent, she tiptoed out of her bed and sneaked outside. The village was dark, but she knew the way to Aunty Titi's beauty place. She reached the salon and hid behind a window. Inside the salon was dark, except for a dim candlelight. Oma's breath caught her in her throat. Aunty Titi was inside. She was standing in front of a mirror Oma had never seen before. Oma's heart pounded. Hadn't Aunty Titi said there were no mirrors? Slowly, Aunty Titi's hand reached out and removed a cloth covering the mirror. Oma's stomach twisted. The mirror didn't show Aunty Titi's reflection. It showed something else. A creature with dark, empty eyes. Its skin was too tight, stretched over to its face like it didn't belong. Its fingers were long and sharp like claws, and when it smiled, it had too many teeth. Oma froze in fear. The creature tilted its head and whispered something in a strange, chilling voice. Then it turned its head and looked straight at Oma. Oma screamed. She ran. She did not look back. She could hear whispers behind her, strange clickling sounds following her. By the time she reached home, she was sobbing and shaking. "Grandma! Grandma!" she cried. Mama pulled her inside. What happened? The mirror. Aunty Titi, the monster. Oma gasped. Mama Abby's face turned pale. "I knew it. I knew something was wrong," Mama Abby said. The next morning, the whole village gathered. They went to the salon to confront Aunty Titi, but when they got there, the salon was gone. Not a single brick was left. It was as if it had never existed. And Aunty Titi, she was nowhere to be found. From that day on, no one in the village ever spoke about Aunty Titi's beauty place. But the elders always gave a warning to their children. They said, if you ever go to a salon and there are no mirrors inside, leave immediately, because if you stay, you might find out what they are hiding. And Oma, she never went near a mirrorless salon again. But deep inside her, she knew the truth. That monster was still out there. And somewhere in another town, there could be another salon with no mirrors. Hi guys, if you've watched this video to the end, please do wait to subscribe, like and comment on the video. Thank you.